Years ago, being the hero was everything. Games let players step into the shoes of noble adventurers, Sonic taking down Dr. Robotnik, Mario rescuing Princess Peach, Crash Bandicoot stopping Cortex. These classics defined an era where heroism was the standard. But by the late 90s, things started to shift. The world got edgier. TV, music, and eventually, games. People still respected the hero, but they didn't admire them like before. Enter DMA Design, a young company that looked at the industry and thought, what if instead of the cops, we played as the robbers? That idea sparked a firestorm of controversy. The first Grand Theft Auto was banned in Brazil and condemned in the media, a reaction that seems almost humorous in hindsight. But at the time, the world wasn't ready to open that particular can of worms. Little did they know, that was just the beginning. By 2001, the 90s edge still lingered, and DMA found themselves once again at the center of it all. This time, they weren't just making noise, they were about to change gaming forever, and it would be their last game before a major transformation. Welcome to episode 2 of the Rockstar Takeover. Today, we're heading into Staten Island to find the hidden packages in Grand Theft Auto 3.
Sorry, babe. I'm an ambitious girl. You're just small time.
If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. In case you didn't know, I'm hosting the Rockstar Takeover where I'll be covering multiple Rockstar games leading up to the release of GTA 6. At the same time, I'm also releasing Mortal Kombat retrospective videos in anticipation of Mortal Kombat 2, the movie. These videos will alternate, giving me more time to research and deliver the best content possible. So if you're into these deep dives, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It helps more people find it. With that out of the way, let's dive in. Now, if you haven't already, check out my Grand Theft Auto retrospectives where I covered the rise of DMA Design and the origins of GTA. But to recap, before Grand Theft Auto became a household name, DMA was a small but ambitious studio led by David Jones. Their early work on Lemmings and Body Harvest paved the way for the creation of Grand Theft Auto, a game that rewarded chaos and player freedom in a way no other title had done before. After the release of GTA 2, however, major changes were on the horizon. By 1999, DMA Design was owned by Infogrames, but was soon to be sold to Take-Two Interactive. This period also saw the departure of David Jones, who left the company due to dissatisfaction with foreign ownership. But while he moved on to new ventures, the remaining team at DMA faced mounting pressure. Rockstar wanted Grand Theft Auto to make the leap to 3D. At the time, gaming as a whole shifted from 2D to 3D, and Rockstar knew that for GTA to stay relevant, it had to evolve. But making a seamless open world game in 3D was no easy task. The GTA 2 team struggled to get it working, and while they were experimenting with different approaches, another group within DMA had their own ideas. Enter the Sega Dreamcast. DMA got their hands on Dreamcast dev kits and began prototyping new concepts. One of these prototypes was inspired by Godzilla, featuring a massive creature stomping around a destructible city. According to Alan Jack, a former support engineer at DMA, the project combined elements of Body Harvest's open world mechanics with the final level of the space station Silicon Valley. The demo showcased cars driving around a fully 3D city, complete with lighting effects and vehicle deformation. But while this was an exciting experiment, Rockstar had bigger ambitions. They wanted Grand Theft Auto in 3D. According to Rockstar co-founder Jamie King, they even asked their Toronto team with getting GTA running in 3D on the Dreamcast. However, as King put it, we had Kevin Hoare, who ran Rockstar Toronto, really trying to use a Dreamcast dev kit to get GTA into 3D, and he was like, the best we can do is kind of like isometric, and that's why they ended up doing The Warriors. But the PlayStation 2 came out, and DMA were like, okay, now we can get this into 3D. The development on the Dreamcast version of GTA continued for a few months. It was ultimately scrapped for commercial reasons. According to a technical director from Rockstar, he stated, "We started developing GTA on the DC, but then we switched to the PS2 when it became clear the DC was not commercially viable. It was a shame. We were all into the Phantasy Star Online at the time. If I would had to guess, I would say we used the DC for about 4 months before switching to PS2. It wasn't for technical reasons. It looked like the DC could have handled GTA 3. It was for commercial reasons." With the release of the PlayStation 2, the team felt a large 3D world was possible. When designing Grand Theft Auto 3, the goal was to take the freedom and interactivity of the original top-down games and translate them into a fully realized 3D world. The challenge was not just making the leap to 3D, but ensuring that the open-ended gameplay, player choices, and chaotic energy of the series remained intact. Unlike other games that fit neatly into a single genre, Grand Theft Auto 3 blended elements of third-person action, RPG mechanics, racing, and shooting into one seamless experience. While games like Driver borrowed from GTA's crime and car chase formula, GTA 3 defined categorization. It wasn't just another action game. It was a full-blown crime simulation. Building on the foundation laid by the early experiments, the development of Grand Theft Auto 3 continued to evolve rapidly. The team at DMA Design, now working closely with Rockstar Games, pushed forward with their ambitious vision for a fully 3D open world. As the project progressed, the developers focused on creating a living, breathing city that would serve as the backdrop for the player's criminal escapades. Art director Aaron Garbut and his team meticulously crafted Liberty City, drawing inspiration from New York City's iconic boroughs. The city was divided into 3 distinct islands, each with its own unique atmosphere and art style. To bring this vast urban landscape to life, the team had to overcome significant technical challenges. They implemented a clever system that loaded and unloaded portions of the city as a player moved through it, allowing them to create a seamless world within the PlayStation 2's limited memory. This innovative approach enabled them to pack the game with an unprecedented level of detail and interactivity. The Houser brothers, Dan and Sam, played a crucial role in shaping the game's narrative and overall tone. Unlike previous entries in the series, they wanted GTA 3 to feature a more cohesive storyline with interconnected missions. This led to the creation of a silent protagonist and a cast of colorful characters that the player would encounter throughout their journey through Liberty City. One of the most significant additions to the game was the implementation of a fully voiced cast. The team brought in a diverse group of voice actors, including several well-known performers, to breathe life into the game's eccentric characters. This attention to detail in the audio department extended to the game's radio stations, what became a hallmark of the series. As development progressed, the team continued to refine and expand upon the core gameplay mechanics. They introduced a wide array of weapons and vehicles, each with unique handling characteristics and uses. The mission structure was carefully designed to take advantage of a 3D environment, allowing for more complex and varied objectives than before. Just listen to one of the tech designers here.
Everybody started doing their own project. So it was Leslie and Aaron that said, well, why don't we work on GTA 3? Because, GTA 1 was such a great hit. GTA 2 didn't do so well, but we can take it into 3D and, they could see that's going to go somewhere. So they started doing that. And literally within 2 weeks, everybody just went, yeah, this is a great idea. So everybody sort of teamed up and we started doing it. And in fact, it didn't really come from management, it didn't come from New York. They just kind of let us do it for a bit, and then after maybe 4 or 5 months, They went, well, this looks pretty good, so yeah, okay, carry on, just do what you're doing. Whereas before, it sounded like they were actually planning to give it to another company altogether, because GTA 2 wasn't really working out that well. But at that point, they just kind of went, okay, fine, we do GTA 3.
You came the wrong way, Holmes!
You take my money?
Leslie Benzies did make a design document with everything spec'd out, like the weapons and the sort of type of vehicles we have. But basically, I think everybody was pretty confident that it was just going to be, GTA 1 in 3D. There's some things that didn't really work that well. In GTA 1, they had like a lot of the missions you took through phone calls. That was really not something that we felt would translate that well to 3D. It was kind of weird to answer the phone everywhere. So we sort of ditched that idea. But I mean, these are all minor tweaks. I mean, the gameplay was just great. It was just a matter of making it 3D. And of course, 3D gives you more opportunities too. All of a sudden, the weapons are more interesting. So you can have like blow up this truck, and there's multiple ways of doing it with a rocket launcher and the grenades or whatever. So sniper rifle doesn't really work in 2D, but it works in 3D. So it just led to more interesting missions just because it was in 3D. Now it was about 25 people. So basically the Space Station Silicon Valley team plus a few other people that had finished their project, and maybe some new hires. But it was still the same. You'd still sort of go out together and stuff. But it was just incredibly hard work. In fact, it was a lot shorter than Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley was about 3.5 years maybe, and GTA was just 2.5 maybe. Not as crazy as Vice City though, because that was just 1 year. In that year, we also did the PC version of GTA 3. So that year, it was a bit much. But GTA 3 was fine. Yeah, it was just fun.
Okay, so you're saying that like 25 people over the course of like 2.5 years made like the first open world city game, and your enduring memory was that it was a good laugh.
It was a good laugh, yeah, and it was still time. It is Scotland. It was still time to get pissed twice a week, so it was all good.
Despite the enormous workload, the development team maintained a positive atmosphere. This camaraderie and passion for the project helped drive the team through the intense development period. Now, as the game was nearing completion, a tragic event would happen in New York on September 11, 2001. Due to this tragic day, GTA 3 would be pushed back by 3 weeks to make changes to the overall story. According to another Rockstar co-founder, Terry Donovan, he stated, "Our decision was based on 2 factors. Firstly, it had been a little difficult to get work done in downtown Manhattan in the last week since the basic communications infrastructure had been intermittent at best. And secondly, we felt that a full content review of all our titles and the marketing materials we used to represent them was absolutely necessary for us in light of the horrifying event we all witnessed in the United States last week." With the changes finally implemented due to 9/11, GTA 3 will finally be released on October 22nd, 2001, bringing GTA into the 3D world.
My boy will string you up. Did you see what that guy did?
Okay, here's a quick spoiler alert as I'm about to tell the story behind Grand Theft Auto 3. Now, if you're not a fan of spoilers, please advance this video to the gameplay overview section as seen on the timeline below. Let's dive into this. Quick note, the protagonist in this game does not speak, nor do we know his name in this entry. It wasn't until GTA San Andreas we will learn his name is Claude, so I'll be referring to him as Claude for the rest of the video. I just wanted to make sure we cleared that up. Now let's begin. The game opens up at Liberty City Bank, where a heist is already in progress. We see Claude, our silent protagonist, alongside his girlfriend Catalina and Miguel, a member of the Colombian cartel. As the three make their escape, Catalina suddenly betrays Claude, shooting him and leaving him for dead. What she doesn't realize is that Claude survives the gunshot, only to be arrested for the robbery. He is sentenced to 10 years in Liberty City Penitentiary. On his way to prison, Claude finds himself in a police convoy alongside an old Oriental gentleman and another prisoner named 8-Ball. As they approach the Callahan Bridge, Colombian cartel members ambush the convoy, taking the old Oriental gentleman. Seizing the opportunity, Claude and 8-Ball take down the remaining guards and escape. From there, Claude drives himself and 8-Ball to a safe house where they change clothes and regroup. With nowhere else to turn, 8-Ball introduces Claude to Luigi Godarelli, the owner of Luigi's Sex Club 7. Luigi offers him work, setting Claude on a path to making a name for himself in Liberty City.
Wait here, man, while I go in and talk to Luigi. Say hello to 8-Ball, ladies.
8-Ball's got some business upstairs. Well, maybe you could do me a favor. One of my girls needs a ride, so grab a car and pick up Misty from the clinic, then bring her back here. Remember, no one messes with my girls. So keep your hands on the wheel. If you don't mess this up, maybe there'll be more work for you. Now get out of here.
Claude's first job is simple. Pick up Misty, one of Luigi's girls from the hospital, and bring her back to the club. Having earned a bit of trust, Claude is handed his next assignment. There's a new drug on the streets called Spank, and someone's been selling it to Luigi's girls. Luigi orders Claude to send the dealer a message by playing baseball with his head. He also wants the dealer's car repainted and stashed in a lockup. After handling business, Claude returns to Luigi, who gives him another opportunity. This time, he's tasked with driving Misty to meet Joey Leone, the son of Liberty City's most powerful crime boss. Luigi makes it clear this is Claude's chance to get in good with the Leone family. Claude picks up Misty and drops her off at Joey Leone's auto shop, where he finally comes face to face with Joey himself. From here, Joey begins putting Claude to the test.
Joey! Am I gonna get to play with your big ant again?
I'll be with you in a minute, Sparkplug. Hey, I'm Joey. Luigi said you were reliable, so come back later. There might be some work for you. All right?
In Joey's first assignment for Claude, he has him steal Mike Forelli's car while he's eating at Marco's Bistro and armed with a bomb from 8-Ball. Claude would then return the car to the restaurant where Mike Forelli is eating and blow it sky high.
Take your girlfriend. Baby.
Impressed by Claude's work, Joey decides to give him another job. Eliminate Chunky Lee Chong, a dealer pushing Spank for the Colombians. Claude heads into Chinatown, deep in Triad territory, and takes out Chunky Lee Chong. With Joey's trust growing, his next task is more high stakes. Ram a payroll van off the road and deliver it to a warehouse at the docks. Having finally earned Joey's respect, Claude is introduced to Tony Cipriani. So I want you to remember this name because it will come up in another video I'm doing in the future. But for now, let's continue. Tony's first request is simple. Drive him to Chinatown to collect unpaid protection money from Mr. Wong's laundrette. Claude takes him there, but things quickly turn south as two Triad open fire on Tony. He jumps back in the car and Claude speeds off, safely delivering him to his home in St. Mark's. Before heading inside, Tony tells Claude to come back for more work.
The Triads think they can mess with me. The Triads.
With me. Drop by later and we'll give them something to launder. Their own blood-stained clothes.
Now, working for Tony, Claw's first assignment is to destroy 3 Triad vans, their punishment for refusing to pay protection money. After taking care of business, Tony, impressed by Claw's efficiency, sends him to collect the stash from the laundrette. But when Claw arrives, he realizes it's a setup. He's ambushed by Triad members. Fighting his way out, Claw eliminates the attackers and returns the money to Tony. For their final job together, Tony informs Claude that the Leone family Don, Salvatore Leone, has called a meeting at his gentleman's club in St. Mark's. Claude is tasked with picking up Salvatore's son and underboss Joey Leone from his garage in Trenton, as well as made man Luigi Godarelli from his club in the red light district before returning to collect Tony. He warns Claude that the Triads might try to interfere. Sure enough, after Claude gathers Joey and Luigi, he returns for Tony. The Triads launch an attack, but Claude manages to escape with his passengers and safely delivers them to Salvatore's club. There, Salvatore greets his men before pulling Claude aside, telling him that he sees a bright future for him in the Leone family.
Real good. Come on, let's introduce you to the Don.
Hey, Luigi!
Oh, my girls have been missing you so long, Salvatore. You've been away too long.
You tell them once this unfortunate business is taken care of, we'll all go down to the club and celebrate, okay? There's my boy.
How you doing, Pop?
You got yourself a good woman yet? Hey, your mother, God bless her soul, would be turning over in her grave to see you without a wife.
I know, Pop. I'm working on it.
Tony! How's your mama? She's a great woman, you know. Strong. Firenze.
She's good. Fine.
Terrific, terrific. Now listen, you guys, you go inside while I talk to our new friend here. I see nothing but good things for you, my boy.
Now that Claude is in the big leagues, he's working directly under Salvatore Leone himself. The Don's first task? Look after his girl, Maria, while she takes care of business. Claude drives Maria to her dealer, Chico, who's hanging around Kowalski Station at the Chinatown waterfront. Chico briefly offers her some spank, but she settles for her usual fix. While they talk, Chico mentions a party happening at a warehouse in Atlantic Quays. Intrigued, Maria insists Claude take her there. But the party doesn't last long. The Liberty City Police Department crashes the scene. Chaos erupts, and Maria barely makes it back to the car. Claude floors it, evading the cops and safely returning her to Salvatore's Gentleman Club. Impressed by his heroics, Maria seems to be developing something for Claude.
You know, I enjoyed myself for the first time in a long while, and you treated me really good with respect and everything. I better go. I'll see you around.
After helping Salvatore, Claude returns to working with Tony. This time, it's about finishing the Triads for good. Their main base, the fish factory. With 8Ball's help, they rig a truck with explosives, reducing the factory to rubble and putting an end to the Leone Triad War. Back in Salvatore's good graces, Claude is assigned a more delicate job, rooting out a rat within the Leone family. Someone's been selling secrets to the Colombian cartel, the same group manufacturing Spank in Liberty City. Salvatore's prime suspect? Curly Bob, a bartender at Luigi's Sex Club 7, who's been spending way more than he earns. Claude stakes out Luigi's and tails Curly Bob as he hops in a taxi bound for Portland Harbor. There, Claude watches him from the shadows as Catalina and Miguel of the cartel hand Curly Bob some spank. In return, Bob spills everything, the Leone family's ongoing struggles with the Triads and the Forelli crime family.
Mr. Big Mouth himself.
Were you followed? You know what goes on here is our little secret, amigo.
No, I wasn't followed. You got my stuff?
Here's your spank, squealer. Now talk.
Okay, so the Leones are fighting wars on 2 fronts. They're in a turf war with the Triads, with no sign of either side giving up. Meanwhile, Joey Leone has stirred up some bad blood with the Forellis. Every day they're losing men and influence in the city. Salvatore's becoming dangerous and paranoid. He expects everybody and everything.
And with loyalty like yours, what has he possibly got to worry about?
After Catalina and Miguel leave, Claude wastes no time. He takes out Curly Bob, silencing the rat for good. With that handled, Salvatore gives Claude his next mission. The Colombian cartel is making a fortune pushing Spank through the city, and he wants to put a stop to it. Their freighter, docked at Portland Harbor, the same place Claude just took out Curly Bob, is the heart of their operation. Salvatore promises Claude anything he wants if he gets the job done. To pull this off, Claude heads over to 8-Ball's shop for the explosives, but there's a catch. 8-Ball needs $100,000 to make it happen. After securing the cash, Claude returns and the two make their way to Portland Harbor. Since 8-Ball's hands are still too messed up to use a gun, he hands Claude a sniper rifle. From a high vantage point, Claude picks off the Colombian cartel members guarding the freighter while 8-Ball plants the explosives. Just as he finishes, he makes a break for it, seconds before the ship goes up in flames. With the freighter destroyed, Claude returns to Salvatore for what seems like one final job. Pleased with his work, Salvatore tells him it's just one last thing they need to do before they celebrate. He needs Claude to take a car parked near Luigi's club to the Crusher since it contains evidence of criminal activity. But just as Claude's about to get in, his pager goes off. It's Maria. She warns him it's a trap. The car is rigged to explode the moment he starts it. Claude immediately changes course and meets Maria at the slip south of the Callahan Bridge. At the dock, Maria reveals the truth. Salvatore thinks there's something going on between them, and to get rid of Claude, he's selling him to the cartel. Now, both of them are marked for death. With no time to waste, Maria introduces Claude to a woman named Asuka, who urges them to move fast. They need to get out of Portland now.
Listen, Salvatore thinks that we're going behind his back, so he was offering you to the cartel in order to make a deal. I couldn't let him do that. I mean, the worst thing is, it's all my fault because I told him we were an item. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Look, you're a marked man on the Mafia turf, and I've got to get out of here, too. I've seen too much killing, too much blood. Look, this is a friend of mine, okay? She's an old friend, and it's Asuka. She's someone we could trust.
Come on, enough of the speeches. We better get out of here before we get more hysterical Italians wanting less friendly reunions.
After escaping Portland, Claude and Maria take a boat to Staunton Island, where Asuka sets them up with a new safe house. While Maria and Asuka talk, Claude, now familiarizing himself with Staunton Island, decides to go straight to Asuka for his next move. Asuka formally introduces herself as part of the Yakuza and reveals that she is well aware of Claude's work in Portland. But before she can fully trust him, she needs proof that he has no remaining ties to the Mafia. His first task: take out Salvatore Leone. Claude heads back to Portland and waits near the club for Salvatore to step outside. The moment he does, Claude takes him out, severing his ties to the Leone family once and for all. With his loyalty proven, he returns to Asuka, who's impressed and introduces him to her brother Kenji, another high-ranking Yakuza member. Kenji tells Claude to stop by his casino when he's done handling business with Asuka, as he has work for him. Meanwhile, Asuka warns Claude that the Mafia is watching the Yakuza, trying to track him down after Salvatore's deletion. To eliminate the threat, she orders Claude to take out the Mafia spies, keeping tabs on them. After handling the spies, his next target is a reporter who has been gathering intel on the Yakuza. Claude heads to the marina, steals a police boat, and chases down his target, making sure he won't be reporting anything ever again. For his next assignment, Asuka finally connects Claude with her inside man at the Liberty City Police Department, but this won't be a simple introduction. Claude has to travel across town answering different phone calls until he's directed to a public restroom in Belleville Park. There, he finally meets his contact, Ray Machowski.
You must be Azuka's new errand boy. You got the money? Is it all here? I know what you're thinking. Another bent cop. Well, it's a bent world. Just because I lost a few partners, those suckers from Internal Affairs have started sniffing around. Reckon they can smell me. Well, this city is one big open sewer. But I'm gonna need some non-union help. And if you're interested, you know where to find me.
Ray, a corrupt cop with Yakuza ties, wastes no time giving Claude his first job: eliminate his former partner Leon McAfee for snitching on him. Claude heads to Newport and sets McCarthy's safe house on fire, forcing him outside, where Claude finishes the job. Ray's next mission leads Claude to an old army buddy of his, Phil Cassidy, who needs protection from the Colombian cartel after they roughed him up. After fending off the cartel, Phil rewards Claude by offering him high-powered weapons for a price. Claude's work with Ray takes a dark turn when he learns about a wealthy man named Donald Love, who's being blackmailed over photos taken at a morgue party where he allegedly engaged in cannibalism. Ray orders Claude to retrieve and destroy the evidence. The problem? The photos are inside a bulletproof, fireproof, and explosion-proof Bobcat truck driving around Staten Island. Claude tracks the vehicle, rams it from behind to shake out the evidence, collects the 6 incriminating photos, and ensures the car he used in the job is destroyed. When the job's complete, Claude finally meets Donald Love. The eccentric billionaire thanks him for handling the evidence and immediately presents him with his first task, rescuing an old friend, the Old Oriental Gentleman. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it should. This is the same man from the very beginning of the game whose abduction led to Claude and 8-Ball's escape from the convoy. If you recall, he was kidnapped by the Colombian cartel. This moment brings the story full circle.
First of all, let me thank you for dealing with that personal matter. People will read something into anything these days. Experience has taught me that a man like you can be very loyal for the right price, but groups of men get greedy. A valued resource, an old Oriental gentleman I know, has been kept hostage by some South Americans in Espatria. They're trying to extort additional funds from me, but I don't believe in renegotiation. A deal is a deal, so they'll not see a penny from me. Go and rescue my friend. Do whatever it takes.
Realizing the only way into the cartel compound is by using one of their own vehicles, Claude heads to Fort Staunton, steals a cartel cruiser, and drives it straight into the compound. The disguise works. At first, he's inside, but the Colombians quickly recognize him. Acting fast, Claude wipes them out before searching the compound, eventually finding the Old Oriental Gentleman locked inside one of the several garages. With the coast clear, he takes him back to Donald Love, completing the mission. What comes next is one of Donald Love's most ruthless moves, looking to develop more properties in Liberty City. Love needs real estate prices to drop. His solution? Start a gang war between the Yakuza and the Colombian cartel. To do that, he orders Claude to delete Kenji, yes, Asuka's brother. Claude, ever the professional, takes a cartel cruiser, rams Kenji while he's in a meeting, staying inside a vehicle to make it look like the cartel was responsible. With Kenji out of the picture and tensions escalating, Claude returns to Love for his next job. This time, a plane is dropping several packages into the ocean, and Love wants them before anyone else can get to them. Claude gets in a boat and tails the plane, picking up all 6 packages while avoiding the authorities. However, after returning to Love, he learns the truth that the packages he collected were just decoys. The real package was still on the plane, and the authorities had intercepted it. Fortunately, Love has already bribed the right people to help retrieve it. Claude heads to Donald's private hangar at Francis International Airport, only to find the Liberty City Port Authority officers deleted and 6 Colombian cartel gang members waiting instead. Fighting his way through, he eliminates them and enters the hangar Dodo aircraft, only to realize the package is missing. A planted construction van parked outside gives him a lead. He follows it back to the Pan-Atlantic construction site in Fort Staunton, where he battles more cartel members and takes an elevator to the upper levels. There, he finally comes face to face with Miguel and Catalina, who have Love's package. As Claude confronts them, Miguel surrenders the package, but Catalina, in a fit of rage, shoots him before leaping off the building and escaping into a garbage bin below. Moments later, Asuka and the Yakuza arrive to seize control of the area, still believing the cartel deleted her brother. She sees Miguel as an opportunity for revenge. With the package secured, Claude leaves to deliver it to Love Media.
Hey, let's get this out of here. God knows what it is, but he seems to want it badly enough, so it must be worth something.
Hold on, hey!
You!
Hey, take it easy, amigo. No es nada, no es nada.
I left you pouring your heart out into the gutter!
Hey, don't shoot, amigo. No problem. We all friends. Here,
Don't be such
take
a
this.
pussy!
Hey, we got no choice, baby.
You always got a choice, you dumb bastard.
I'm sorry about the crazy bitch, man. They're all the same. Please, por favor.
So, the whore got away. But you've done me a favor. You're not the only one that has a score to settle with the cartel. This worm killed my brother.
I never killed no Yakuza.
Liar! We all saw the cartel assassin. We are going to hunt down and kill all you Colombian dogs. I'll be operating on our friend here to extract information and a little pleasure. You, drop by later. I'm sure I'll require your services.
Please, amigo. Don't leave me here with her, man. She's psycho, chico, man. Please, amigo. Hey, amigo. Amigo.
With Asuka holding Miguel hostage, the gang war between the Yakuza and the Colombian cartel is now in full swing. Asuka relentlessly takes advantage of Miguel for information, learning that Catalina fears Claude's revenge. To counter this, Catalina has deployed 3 death squads across Liberty City with orders to eliminate him. Claude, now a marked man, scours Shoreside Vale to locate each squad, leading them into a carefully planned Yakuza ambush. With the death squads neutralized, Claude returns to the construction site where Oscar and Miguel continue their personal time. For this next task, Oscar reveals the Colombian cartel has been using espresso stalls across Liberty City as fronts to distribute Spank. Claude must destroy every stall before the pushers are warned, giving him only 8 minutes to complete this job. Racing against the clock, he speeds across all 3 islands, demolishing each stall and crippling the cartel's drug operations. With their finances taking a hit, Oscar shifts focus to another major Spank shipment. A plane carrying a large supply is set to land in Francis International Airport, and she wants Claude to intercept it. To avoid airport security, he travels by boat, picking up a rocket launcher along the way. Arriving at the airport's southern end, he eliminates the Colombian cartel guards securing the area. Moments later, the drug-laden plane touches down. Claude wastes no time. He blasts it out of the sky with the rocket launcher, sending Spank packages flying across the runway. Acting quickly, Claude gathers a scattered drug while evading the authorities. After a narrow escape, he heads back to the construction site to deliver the package. But when he steps out of the elevator, he's met with a gruesome sight. Miguel and Asaka have been eliminated, and Maria is nowhere to be found. Pinned to a nearby pole, a ransom note from Catalina delivers an ultimatum. Unless Claude brings $500,000, Maria will suffer the same fate as Asuka. Claude arrives at the mansion's gate, handing over the ransom money to a cartel member. Stripped of his weapons, he's led inside to meet Catalina, but instead of a deal, she mocks him for his gullibility, casually walking away with both the money and Maria. Before leaving, she orders her men to eliminate Claude, but then Claude uses this epic matrix move and gets out of this. With nothing left to lose, Claude swiftly takes down the cartel guards with nothing but his fist and a pistol. He fights his way out of the mansion only to spot a helicopter overhead. Catalina and Maria are making their escape. Determined not to let her slip away again, Claude follows the chopper all the way to a cartel-controlled dam, tearing down through waves of heavily armed enemies. As he closes in, Catalina makes one final move. She drops Maria off at the loading bay under a heavy guarded area before taking to the skies. From above, she rains down missiles in a last-ditch effort to stop Claude. Undentured, Claude eliminates the remaining cartel members, freeing Maria. Spotting a nearby rocket launcher, he takes aim at Catalina's chopper. A single, well-placed shot sends the helicopter spiraling out of control before it crashes against the dam in a fiery explosion, bringing Catalina's reign to an explosive end. With the battle over, Claude and Maria walk together across the dam. As credits roll, Maria's voice continues in the background, rambling on and on and on until a sudden gunshot silences her mid-sentence. And with that, the story comes to a close.
Residents in Cedar Grove have been coming to terms with the emotional aftermath of a full-blown war that hit the area yesterday. Local resident Clive Denver described to police a single gunman that he saw fleeing the scene with a dark-haired woman.
Oh, we're gonna have such fun, because, I love you. I really do, because you're such a big, strong man, and that's just what I need. Anyway, what was I saying? I forget, but you know what it's like, don't you?
The sound of explosions shook nearby homes as people ran for cover. Several citizens were injured in the panic as gunfire was exchanged between ground forces and a helicopter circling the dam.
Yeah, we got a good view from down here in the gardens when the copter finally got taken out. Better than the fireworks on the 4th of July.
With the death toll already over 20, police are still finding bodies. There have been no official denials concerning rumors that the dead were members of the Colombian cartel, and still no leads as to the cause of the massacre.
My hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
As Rockstar's first step into 3D, GTA 3 brought something game-changing. Back in my first GTA retrospective, I talked about how that game exposed the darker underbelly of the American dream. Here, we see the same theme, but this time it's wrapped in a more immersive and visually striking package. So let's talk about the American dream. In GTA 3, Liberty City serves as both a narrative backbone and a scathing critique of modern society. It functions as a microcosm of America's promise of opportunity. Yet, in this world, success is built on corruption, betrayal, and exploitation. The game's vision of the American dream isn't one of honest hard work leading to prosperity. Instead, it's a ruthless system where only the most cunning and cutthroat thrive. Take Donald Love, for instance, a wealthy media mogul who manipulates a gang war between the Yakuza and the cartel to drive down real estate prices. He doesn't just benefit from crime. He actively engineers chaos to serve his business interests. His actions exemplify Rockstar's submissive take on capitalism, where crime isn't an anomaly, it's an integral part of the system.
Nothing drives down real estate prices like a good old-fashioned gang war, apart from an outbreak of plague, but that might be going too far in this case. I've noticed the Yakuza and the Colombians are far from friends. Let's capitalize on this business opportunity. I want you to kill the Yakuza Wakagashira, Kenji Kassen. Kenji is attending a meeting at the top of the multi-story car park in Newport. Get a cartel gang car and eliminate him. The Yakuza must blame the cartel for this declaration of war.
GTA 3 critiques the commodification of crime under capitalism, presenting a world where legality is nothing more than a thin veil over corruption. From street-level thugs to high-ranking politicians, every institution is complicit. The game blurs the lines between lawful and unlawful behavior, showing that the only real difference between a crime lord and a corporate mogul is the size of their empire. This hypocrisy is embodied in Ray Machowski, a corrupt cop who feeds the Yakuza inside information for a price. He thrives within the system as long as his actions remain hidden. But the moment his crimes start catching up to him, he's forced to flee to Vice City. His downfall is a reminder that in Liberty City, morality is flexible, but survival isn't guaranteed.
You weren't followed. Good. This is it. I'm way over my head and I'm starting to drown here. The CIA seems to have a vested interest in Spank, and they don't like us screwing with the cartel. I'm a marked man, so I'm getting out of here. Get me to my flight at the airport, and I'll make it worth your while.
Rockstar's satire extends beyond crime. It's a scathing critique of societal values. Even Liberty City's name is ironic. It promises freedom, yet the only real liberty it offers is a freedom to exploit or be exploited. The game mocks America's obsession with individualism by creating a world where players can act without consequence, reinforcing the idea that in this society, self-interest reigns supreme. Nowhere is this critique more apparent than in the game's portrayal of media and consumerism. The exaggerated radio ads and talk shows lampoon a culture driven by greed, sensationalism, and ideological extremes. Laszlo Jones, working alongside Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser, crafted in-game radio stations that parody both left-wing and right-wing ideologies, intellectuals, rednecks, and pop stars alike. These stations weren't just world-building tools. They were a vehicle for social commentary, reflecting the absurdity of modern media disclosure.
A good shoe starts from the ground up. At Eris, we make high-quality footwear. In fact, you can find Eris running shoes in over 140 countries around the world. In the past, there's been some criticism about our workers. That's why I'm here at one of the Eris factories so you can meet some of them. Excuse me, sir. Do you enjoy your job here?
It's fun. We get to play with knives.
I see. Is there a real sense of teamwork?
My friend Joey sewed his hands together.
Wow, you're learning some real skills. How about the salary and benefits?
Yesterday, I made $1.
See, that's the kind of dedication we have to our employees and the quality of our shoes. Eris running shoes. Always running from something.
I used to be concerned and nervous about the future. Sometimes I'd get scared before an important event such as childbirth or a family funeral. Hey, sometimes you need a little help navigating life's trouble spots. That's when I discovered Equinox.
After the divorce and losing little Tommy, life was getting me down. I couldn't focus on anything at work. After trying Equinox, I've been Employee of the Month 3 times in a row.
I used to fall unconscious for hours at a time. Now with Equinox, I never need to sleep.
Equinox is new from Zaibatsu Pharmaceuticals. Ask your doctor about Equinox today.
Equinox may cause nausea, loss of sleep, blurred vision, leakage, kidney problems, and breathing irregularities. Do not take Equinox if you're operating heavy machinery, driving a car, pregnant, of childbearing age, unhappy, or have a family history of mental disorders.
Equinox, softening life's harsh realities.
But here's the interesting part. DMA Design and Rockstar weren't American. Their critique of American society didn't come from first-hand experience, but from American media. They absorbed the nation's values, contradictions, and excess through crime films, television, and pop culture, then reflected them back in an exaggerated satirical form. This cinematic influence wasn't just thematic, it shaped GTA 3's very identity. The game featured voice acting from established Hollywood actors like Michael Rappaport, Robert Loggia, and Joe Pantoliano, lending credibility to its gritty urban narrative. These characters and storylines draw heavy inspiration from classics like The Godfather, Reservoir Dogs, and Goodfellas, as well as TV series like The Sopranos. In fact, Tony Cipriani's tense relationship with his mother is a direct parallel to Tony Soprano and his overbearing mother, Livia, something I'll get into deeper during my character analysis portion. Continuing, this fusion of crime cinema and interactive storytelling gave GTA 3 its distinctive atmosphere, one that blended dark, nihilistic themes with satire. The result wasn't just a groundbreaking open-world game. It was a cultural mirror, reflecting the moral ambiguities of a society where crime and capitalism go hand in hand. Even Dan Houser explained this.
The original game was based on watching too many American movies and watching all that overhead helicopter chase footage, which was the only camera we could use due to the limitations on the old hardware. But we always wanted to make an action movie when you actually felt like you were controlling a real character, and that's what we've done this time.
One of GTA's strongest elements isn't just its silent protagonists or the gang rivalries. It's Liberty City itself. This city isn't just a backdrop, it's an evolving character in the game, shaping the narrative and Claude's journey. As I mentioned in my GTA retrospective, Liberty City is heavily inspired by New York City, and with its return, it's time to double down on that statement. This city is divided into 3 islands: Portland, Staten Island, and Shoreside Vale, each representing a distinct phase in Claude's descent into the criminal underworld. The environments, the challenges, and the shifting power dynamics reflect the escalating stakes of his journey. Portland is Liberty City's gritty industrial heart, drawing inspiration from Brooklyn and Queens, with the red light district reminiscent of Baltimore and Manhattan. This is where the game begins setting the tone for GTA 3's world of crime and corruption. Portland is a working class borough, home to the Leone Mafia family, the Triads, and the Diablos, vying for control over its streets. Claude starts off under the wing of the Leone family, running jobs for Don Salvatore Leone, but tensions with the Triad and Diablos create a constant state of conflict. The island's grimy docks, run-down factories, and shady nightclubs paint a picture of the faded American dream, where power isn't earned, it's taken. This is the darkest of the three islands, and it doesn't hold back. Portland throws you into a world of car explosions, money laundering, and let's just say certain businesses that YouTube wouldn't let me say. If you played the fuzzball mission of this game, you already know exactly what I mean. After the industrial grime of Portland, Staunton Island marks a shift in both setting and narrative. This is Liberty City's financial hub, its version of Manhattan filled with towering skyscrapers, high-rise apartments, and the kind of wealth that breeds corruption. The stakes are higher here, and so are the players. Claude enters a world of organized crime and corporate influence, working for powerful figures like the Yakuza, led by Asuka and her brother Kenji. But he's also dealing with the Colombian cartel, which has become a more serious threat. This is where Claude starts making real money and gaining real influence, navigating alliances with corrupt cops like Ray Machowski and moguls like Donald Love, a man who literally profits off of gang warfare. Staunton's sleek skyline and corporate sheen contrast with Portland's blue-collar grit, symbolizing Claude's progression into a more sophisticated but equally ruthless world. It's no longer about street-level crime, it's about power plays, and the deeper you go, the less you can trust anyone. If Portland was the slums and Staunton was the high-rise elite, Shoreside Vale, inspired by New Jersey, is the deceptive middle ground. It looks peaceful on the surface with its suburban mansions and gated communities, but this place is just as corrupt as the rest of Liberty City, maybe even worse. The Colombian cartel has full control here, and by the time Claude reaches Shoreside Vale, things have gone completely off the rails. This is the setting for some of the gang's most intense missions, leading straight to that climactic final showdown with Catalina. Shoreside Vale also highlights Liberty City's stark socio-economic disparity. While its suburbs might look wealthier than Portland or Staunton, crime is still woven into its fabric. Money doesn't mean safety. In GTA 3's world, it just means more expensive criminals. The journey across the three islands mirrors Claude's rise through the criminal underworld, from small-time enforcement in Portland to a major player in Staunton, all the way to a personal reckoning in Shoreside Vale. Each island introduces new factions, new betrayals, and new challenges, reinforcing the game's core themes of power, corruption, and moral decay. The city itself is the storytelling. Portland's industrial grit, Staunton's corporate sheen, and Shoreside Vale's deceptive calm all reflect Claude's shifting reality. And from a gameplay perspective, unlocking each island isn't just about access, it's about progression, making every new area feel earned while keeping the narrative momentum going. In Liberty City, the American dream is a lie. You don't earn power here, you take it. And the higher you climb, the harder the fall. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before getting into analyzing the characters is to take a look at the gangs seen in this game. Starting with the Leone family. They are a powerful Italian-American crime syndicate led by Salvatore Leone. Based in Portland, their territory include St. Mark's and parts of the Red Light District. Initially, Claude works for the Leones, completing missions that establish their dominance over rival gangs, like the Triads and the Diablos. However, Salvatore's paranoia leads to a betrayal when he attempts to have Claude deleted. This turning point severs Claude's ties with the Leones and sets him on a path towards independence. The Leone family storyline explores themes of loyalty, betrayal, and power struggle within the organized crime, while their downfall reflects the instability of Liberty City's criminal hierarchy. Next up are the Triads, an Asian crime syndicate operating out of Chinatown in Portland. They are rivals to the Leone family, leading to several missions where Claude sabotages their operations, including destroying their fish factory. The Triads symbolize the ethnic diversity of Liberty City's underworld and highlight the regional disputes that drive much of the game's early conflict. Their rivalry with the Leone serves as a backdrop for Claude's initial rise within the Mafia. The Diablos are a Puerto Rican street gang based in Hepburn Heights, Portland. They are a smaller faction compared to others, but play a role in Liberty City's gang wars. While they are not central to the main storyline, their presence adds depth to the city's criminal ecosystem and provides additional challenges for players navigating Portland. The Yakuza, led by Asuka and Kenji, are a Japanese crime syndicate based in Staten Island. After being betrayed by Salvatore Leone, Claude aligns himself with the Yakuza, who provide him with refuge and new opportunities for advancement. The Yakuza represent a more disciplined and business-oriented approach to crime compared to other gangs. Their storyline is pivotal, and it introduces Claude to a larger-scale operations and political corruptions on Staten Island. However, his alliance is complicated when Claude is forced to delete Kenji as part of a scheme orchestrated by Donald Love. The Colombian cartel serves as the primary antagonist faction in the entire game. Led by Catalina and Miguel, they control parts of Fort Staunton, Staten Island, and Cedar Grove in Shoreside Vale. The cartel is responsible for betraying Claude at the beginning of the game, setting the stage for his quest for revenge. Their operations revolve around drug trafficking, particularly Spank, the gang's narcotic that wreaks havoc through Liberty City. The cartel's influence grows as Claude progresses through the story, culminating in a final confrontation with Catalina at Shoreside Vale. The Uptown Yardies are a Jamaican street gang based in Newport on Staten Island, led by King Courtney. They play a minor role in the narrative, but offer Claude missions that involve sabotaging rival gangs like the Diablos. The Yardies represent another layer of Liberty City's multicultural criminal underworld. The Southside Hoods in the Washita Gardens and Shoreside Vale are divided into two factions, the Red Jacks and the Purple Nines. They are involved in petty crimes like car theft and drug dealing, but have little direct impact on the main storyline. Their internal rivalry adds complexity to Shoreside Vale's gang dynamics. Each gang in GTA 3 contributes to the game's overarching themes of power, betrayal, and survival within a corrupt urban environment. The regional disputes between gangs mirror Claude's own journey as he navigates Liberty City's dangerous underworld. By aligning with or opposing different factions at various points in the story, Claude's actions shape not only his personal trajectory, but also the balance of power within Liberty City. Now, let's break down the characters of this game, starting with Claude. As a silent protagonist, he is a complex and enigmatic character who has left a lasting impression on the game. His lack of dialogue and stoic demeanor make him a blank slate for players to project onto, yet his actions throughout the game reveal a cold, calculating personality driven by survival, greed, and revenge. Claude's character is defined by his willingness to work for various criminal factions in Liberty City without showing loyalty to any particular group. He is described as someone who will do anything for money, even betraying others without question. This trait makes him unpredictable and dangerous, earning him comparisons to Michael Myers in terms of ruthlessness. The decision to make Claude silent was initially due to practical constraints faced by the audio team during development, as revealed by former Rockstar employee Obi Verme. However, this limitation became a defining characteristic that allowed players to immerse themselves more fully in the game world. Claude's silence also contributes to his mysterious and menacing aura, making him a memorable character despite the lack of verbal expression. Claude's backstory and motivations are primarily centered around his betrayal by Catalina during a bank heist. This event sets him on a path for revenge, though it's worth noting that Claude's actions throughout the game are not solely driven by his goal. He appears to be more interested in advancing his own position within Liberty City's criminal underworld, taking on jobs from various factions without hesitation. Interestingly, Claude's appearance in GTA 3 was heavily inspired by the actor who portrayed Claude Speed in the live-action promo video for Grand Theft Auto 2. While there has been debate whether Claude from GTA 3 is the same actor as Claude Speed from GTA 2, this visual connection adds another layer to his character mystique. In terms of his relationships, Claude is portrayed as a loner who rarely forms meaningful relationships with others. His interactions with characters like 8-Ball, Maria, and Asuka are primarily transactional, further emphasizing his detached and self-serving nature.
But you haven't learned. I'm not to be trusted. Kill the idiot!
Catalina serves as the primary antagonist in the story. She's portrayed as a ruthless, cunning, and psychopathic criminal mastermind with a penchant for manipulation and betrayal. Catalina is introduced as Claude's former girlfriend and partner in crime. Her character is defined by her unpredictable nature, violent tendencies, and ambition. Catalina's portrayal of Claude during the bank heist at the beginning of the game sets the stage for the entire narrative, demonstrating her willingness to sacrifice anyone, even those closest to her. Catalina's character appears to draw inspiration from various feminine fatality archetypes in crime, fiction, and film noir. Her manipulative nature and sexual allure are reminiscent of characters like Bridget O'Shaughnessy from The Maltese Falcon. It could even be argued that she takes inspiration from Kathy Moffat from Out of the Past. If you don't know, in this movie, Kathy Moffat is a liar, thief, and has committed multiple deletions. However, Catalina's extreme violence and instability set her apart, making her a unique and terrifying presence in the game. Throughout GTA 3, Catalina's presence looms large over the narrative, despite her limited screen time. Her role as leader in the Colombian cartel showcases her ambition and capability as a criminal mastermind. However, some fans have criticized her lack of direct involvement in the game's missions, feeling that more interactions with her character could have enhanced the story. Catalina's character is further defined by her erratic behavior and apparent mental instability. Her dialogue and actions suggest a person driven by an insatiable lust for power, money, and chaos. This unpredictability makes her a formidable opponent and adds to the tension of the game's climax. The voice acting by Cynthia Farrell brings Catalina to life, infusing the character with the maniac energy and distinctive accent that became iconic within the GTA community. Farrell's performance helps to solidify Catalina as one of the most memorable villains in the GTA series.
Sorry, babe. I'm an ambitious girl. You're just small time.
8-Ball is a significant character in GTA 3, serving as Claude's first ally and introducing him to the criminal underworld of Liberty City. He is portrayed as an explosive expert and a firearms trader, owning explosive garages throughout Liberty City. 8-Ball's most distinctive physical feature is his heavily bandaged hands, reportedly due to severe burns, though the exact cause remains a subject of speculation among fans. As an associate of the Leone family, 8-Ball plays a crucial role into Claude's initial integration into Liberty City's criminal hierarchy. He helps Claude escape from a police convoy at the beginning of the game, and subsequently connects him with the Leone family for work opportunities. This act of assistance establishes 8-Ball as a loyal friend to Claude, a rarity in the treacherous environment of Liberty City. 8-Ball's expertise in explosives is central to his character and is utilized in several key missions throughout the game. His skills are particularly highlighted in the mission Bomb the Base, where he assists Claude in destroying a Colombian cartel ship. This mission showcases not only 8-Ball's technical prowess, but also his willingness to actively participate in high-risk operations alongside Claude. While 8-Ball's screen time is limited compared to other major characters, his impact on the narrative is significant. He serves as a bridge between Claude and the larger criminal world of Liberty City, setting in motion the events that drive the game's plot. His absence in the later part of the game has led to some speculation among fans about his loyalty, but there's no concrete evidence in the game that suggests he portrayed Claude. Also, let's take a moment of silence for his voice actor, the Guru, who brought 8-Ball to life. Luigi Gordarelli served as Claw's first boss in Liberty City. He is portrayed as a smooth-talking, well-dressed pimp who owns Luigi's Sex Club 7 and is a high-stakes ranking member of the Leone family. Luigi's character embodies the archetype of the sophisticated criminal, combining charm and ruthlessness into his operations. Luigi's character is defined by his suave demeanor and business acumen. Despite his involvement in the seedy world of S-Work, he is described as someone who treats his employees well, citing a unique atmosphere in his club where clients feel they are receiving personal favors rather than paying for services. This approach to his illegal business showcases Luigi's intelligence and understanding of human psychology, traits that have likely contributed to his success within the criminal underworld of Liberty City. The voice acting for Luigi Gordarelli was performed by Joe Pantoliano, a veteran actor known for his roles in notable films and television series such as The Sopranos and Memento. Pantoliano's extensive experience in portraying complex, often morally ambiguous characters in crime dramas and thrillers made him an excellent choice for voicing Luigi. His ability to convey charm and menace simultaneously adds depth to Luigi's character, enhancing the immersive quality of the game's narrative. Pantoliano's performance as Luigi is particularly significant given the actor's association with mob-related roles, especially his portrayal of Ralph in The Sopranos. This typecasting lends an air of authenticity to Luigi's character, as players familiar with Pantoliano's work can easily connect the voice to the criminal underworld setting of GTA 3. The choice of such a recognizable actor for this role also demonstrates Rockstar Games' commitment to creating a cinematic experience within the game, blurring the lines between interactive entertainment and film. Luigi's character, while not directly inspired by a specific real-life individual, draws from various stereotypes and tropes associated with pimps and lower-level mob figures in pop culture.
Hey, I gotta talk to you. All right, Mick, I'll talk to you later. How you doing, kid? The Don's son, Joey Leone. He wants some action from his regular girl, Misty. Go pick her up at Hepburn Heights, but watch yourself. That's Diablo Turf. Then run her over to his garage in Trenton and make it quick. Joey ain't the kind you keep waiting. Remember, this is your foot in the door, so keep your eyes on the road and off Misty.
Joey Leone is the son of Salvatore Leone, the Don of the Leone family. As the owner of Joey's garage in the Trenton district of Portland, Joey represents a unique blend of criminal heritage and blue-collar entrepreneurship. Unlike his father, Joey shows little interest in becoming a made man, instead focusing on small-time crime and his legitimate business as a mechanic. Joey's character embodies the archetype of the reluctant heir to a criminal empire. His preference for hands-on work and small-scale illegal activities over high-level organized crime creates an interesting tension with his family background. This dynamic is highlighted in the game when Salvatore expresses disappointment in Joey's lack of involvement in the family business. The voice of Joey Leone is brought to life by Michael Rappaport. Rappaport's distinctive New York accent and ability to convey a mix of street smart, toughness, and everyday relatability perfectly suit Joey's character. His performance adds depth to Joey, making him feel like an authentic part of Liberty City's criminal landscape. Rappaport's experience in crime dramas and his ability to portray complex characters significantly enhance Joey's role in the game. His voice acting helps establish Joey as a multifaceted character, someone who is comfortable in the criminal world but also maintains a degree of separation from it through his legitimate business. In the context of GTA 3's narrative, Joey serves as an important early contact for the protagonist Claude. He introduces Claude to various aspects of Liberty City's criminal underworld, providing missions that range from car theft to orchestrated licks. These interactions help to establish the game's tone and gradually immerse players in the city's complex web of criminal activities. Joey's character also reflects the game's broader themes of family loyalty, criminal ambition, and the blurred lines between legitimate and illegal enterprises in Liberty City. His relationship with his father, Salvatore, adds depth to the game's exploration of family dynamics within the organized crime, making him a distinct character in the narrative.
It's my boy.
How you doing, Pop?
You got yourself a good woman yet? Hey, Your mother, God bless her soul, would be turning over in her grave to see you without a wife.
I know, Pop. I'm working on it.
Tony Cipriano served as a capo in the Leone family and is one of Claude's key mission givers during the Portland segment of the game. Tony is a classic example of a loyal but volatile mobster, deeply entrenched in Liberty City's organized crime. His character is defined by his allegiance to Salvatore Leone, his explosive temper, and his strained relationship with his overbearing mother. Tony's backstory provides depth to his character. Before the events of GTA 3, Tony had been forced to leave Liberty City after deleting a rival made man, an act that earned him respect but also putting him in hiding for years. Upon returning to the city, he resumes his role with the Leone family, but his time away has left him struggling to regain his former status. This internal conflict between proving himself to Salvatore and dealing with his mother's constant berating adds layers to Tony's personality. His missions often involve targeting rival gangs, particularly the Triads, showcasing his violent and impulsive nature. As I said earlier, Tony Cipriani draws clear inspiration from Tony Soprano, the iconic protagonist of HBO's The Sopranos. Both characters share similar names, Italian-American heritage, and a mix of loyalty to family and deep-seated anger issues. Like Tony Soprano, Tony Cipriani is torn between his criminal obligations and personal struggles, particularly with his domineering mother. This homage ties Tony into the broader tradition of mobster archetypes in American media, making him familiar yet a distinctive figure in GTA 3. In GTA 3, Tony is voiced by Michael Madsen, a critically acclaimed actor for his roles in crime films such as Reservoir Dogs as Mr. Brown and Donnie Brasco as Sonny Black. Madsen's portrayal of Tony brings an authentic toughness and gravitas to the character. His experience in playing morally ambiguous and violent characters in Quentin Tarantino films perfectly aligns with Tony's personality as a volatile enforcer for the Leone family. Madsen's voice acting adds layers of credibility to Tony's character, making him one of the more memorable figures in Liberty City.
Take a goddamn seat. So the laundry won't pay any protection, huh? The Triads think they can mess with me? Let's teach these would-be tough guys what it means to be a tough guy.
Teach him some respect. No son of mine gets it by some Triads. Your father, God rest his soul, took no crap from no Triads
Yes,
back in
Ma.
Sicily.
I want you to destroy their laundry vans and mangle any Triad gimp that gets in your way. 8-Ball can supply you with what you're gonna need.
Don Salvatore Leone is a central figure in Grand Theft Auto 3, serving as the head of the Leone crime family and a key player in Liberty City's criminal underworld. Salvatore is portrayed as a ruthless and paranoid mob boss whose influence and decisions shape much of the game's early narrative. His character is deeply rooted in classic mobster archetypes, blending charisma, authority, and paranoia into a compelling portrayal of a crime lord struggling to maintain power. Salvatore Leone exemplifies the archetypical mafia don, with his character heavily inspired by Don Vito Corleone from the Godfather trilogy. This influence is evident in his mannerisms, his role as the patriarch of the Leone family, and his reliance on authority and respect to maintain control. However, Salvatore diverges from Corleone's calculated wisdom by being more impulsive and paranoid. His paranoia is likely exaggerated by betrayals. This becomes one of his defining traits. The mistrust leads him to betray even his most loyal allies, including Claude, who he attempts to have taken out despite Claude's efficiency and loyalty in carrying out tasks. Salvatore's relationship with other characters underscores his complex personality. He favors Tony over his own son Joey, reflecting his preference over loyalty and competence over familiar ties. His strained relationship with Joey highlights Salvatore's disappointment in his son's lack of ambition with the family business. Additionally, Salvatore's interactions with Maria Latour, his second wife, reveal another layer of his character, his jealousy and possessiveness. Maria's flirtations with Claude fuel Salvatore's paranoia, ultimately leading to his betrayal of Claude. Salvatore plays a crucial role in Claude's journey through Liberty City. Initially, he offers Claude missions that help establish the player's connection to the Leone family and Liberty City's mafia-controlled underworld. These missions involve eliminating rivals like the Triads and solidifying the Leone family's dominance in Portland. Salvatore Leone is voiced by Frank Vincent, renowned actor best known for his roles in mob-centric films like Goodfellas and Casino, as well as his portrayal of Phil in The Sopranos. Vincent's extensive experience playing mobsters leads authenticity to Salvatore's character. His commanding voice captures Salvatore's mix of charm, menace, and validity, making him one of the most memorable figures in GTA 3. Vincent's performance not only enhances Salvatore's presence, but also ties him directly to the cinematic tradition of mafia storytelling that inspired much of GTA 3's tone.
The cartel has got bottomless funds from pushing that spank crap. If we make an open attack on them, they'll wipe the floor with us. They must be making spank on that big boat that Curly led you to. So we gotta use our heads, or rather one head, your head. I'm asking you to destroy that spank factory as a personal favor to me, Salvatore Leone. If you do this for me, you will be a made man. Anything you want. Go and see 8-Ball. You'll need his expertise to blow up that boat.
Maria Latour is a complex and controversial character, serving as both catalyst for the plot and development source for dark humor. She is portrayed as the young, drug-addicted wife of Don Salvatore Leone who becomes entangled with the silent protagonist Claude. Maria's character embodies themes of addiction, manipulation, and the objectification of women in the criminal underworld. Maria's personality is defined by her impulsiveness, materialism, and constant need for attention. Her reckless behavior, including shoplifting and drug use, often leads to trouble for herself and those around her. This is evident in her actions throughout the game, such as her ill-advised affair with Claude, which ultimately leads to Salvatore's betrayal and attempted deletion of Claude. Maria's character seems to draw inspiration from the archetypical mob wife, seen in films like Goodfellas, blending elements of glamour, instability, and vulnerability. The voice acting for Maria was performed by Debbie Mazar, an actress ironically known for her role in Goodfellas as Sandy. Mazar's distinctive New York accent and ability to convey both toughness and vulnerability perfectly capture Maria's complex character. Her performance brings authenticity to Maria's rapid-fire dialogue and mood swings, enhancing the character's impact on the narrative. Mazar's experience in Goodfellas adds an extra layer of credibility to Maria's character within the crime-ridden world of Liberty City. Maria's fate at the end of GTA 3 remains one of the most discussed topics. The final cutscene where Maria is talking is abruptly cut off by a gunshot, has been subject to many speculation for years. Rockstar Games has intentionally left this open to interpretation, adding to the character's lasting impact on players and the GTA community. Throughout the game, Maria serves as a bridge between Claude and the upper echelons of Liberty City's criminal underworld. Her relationship with Claude, whether genuine or merely a ploy for attention, drives significant portions of the plot and ultimately leads to Claude's conflict with Salvatore Leone. This narrative function, combined with Mazar's strong voice acting, elevates Maria from a simple side character to a crucial element of the story.
Local resident Clive Denver described to police a single gunman that he saw fleeing the scene with a dark-haired woman.
We're gonna have such fun, cause you know, I love you. I really do, cause you're such a big, strong man, and that's just what I need. Anyway, what was I saying? I forget, but you know what it's like, don't you?
The sound of explosions shook nearby homes as people ran for cover. Several citizens were injured in the panic as gunfire was exchanged between ground forces and a helicopter circling the dam.
Yeah, we got a good view from down here in the gardens. When the copter finally got taken out, better than the fireworks on the 4th of July.
With the death toll already over 20, police are still finding bodies. There have been no official denials concerning rumors that the dead were members of the Colombian cartel, and still no leads as to the cause of the massacre.
I broke a nail and my hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
Now let's talk about Asuka. She is a high-ranking member of the Yakuza in Liberty City. Her character stands out due to her unusual position as a female leader in the traditionally male-dominated Yakuza organization. Asuka is portrayed as a ruthless and sadistic individual known for her skills in torture, security, and information retrieval. Asuka's character appears to draw inspiration from the archetype of the feminine fatality in crime fiction, blending elements of charm, danger, and unpredictability. Her sadistic tendencies and interest in bondage add a dark and edgy dimension to her character, setting her apart from other crime bosses in the game. While not directly inspired by a specific individual, Asuka's position in the Yakuza may be loosely based on real-life instances of women temporarily leading Yakuza families, such as the wife of Kazuo Takoa, who briefly led the Yamaguchi Gumi after her husband's death. In the game's narrative, Asuka plays a critical role in Claude's journey through Liberty City. She helps Claude and Maria escape from Portland, provides them with missions, and eventually becomes victim of the Colombian cartel, highlighting the volatile nature of Liberty City's criminal underworld. On the other note, some fans think there might be something going on between Asuka and Maria. Just listen to a few dialogue moments and I'll leave it to your interpretation.
Asuka and I are gonna have to talk. Why don't you go cruise around?
You'll need a place to lie low. A reporter has been nosing around. Marie and I have taken a little holiday together until you can get rid of this perverted voyeur. Handyman. Maria's all tied up at the moment, but I'll tell her you called.
Who's that, Asuka? You know, I know I've been a naughty girl, but I really need to pee, okay? We taking it some more now or just wait for it to turn black and fall off?
Give it a quick prod.
Oh, what is that gooey yellow stuff? Oh, hey, babe!
My handyman.
The game never says it, but it's always in the back of our minds. Asuka is voiced by Liana Pai, an actress known for her roles in films such as Requiem for a Dream and The Siege. Pai's performance brings depth and authenticity to Asuka's character, effectively conveying her commanding presence and sadistic tendencies. Pai's experience in dramatic roles, particularly in crime-related productions like Law & Order, likely contributed to her ability to capture Asuka's complex personality. Pai's voice acting significantly enhances Asuka's character, making her a more memorable and compelling figure in the GTA 3 universe.
Miguel seems to think I'm mistreating him. Still, he's revealed the extent to which Catalina fears your quest for revenge. She has 3 death squads dotted around Liberty, whose sole job is to hunt you down. Act as the bait and get the death squads to follow you to Pike Creek, where some of my men will be waiting for them.
Kenji served as a co-leader of the Yakuza alongside his sister Asuka. His character is defined by his strict adherence to loyalty, honor, and tradition, traits that set him apart in the chaotic and morally ambiguous world of Liberty City. Kenji's role in the narrative highlights the cultural organizational differences between the Yakuza and other criminal factions in the game. Kenji is portrayed as a disciplined and principled leader, embodying the traditional values of the Yakuza. He operates out of the Kenji Casino in Torrington, Staten Island, which serves as both his base of operations and a symbol for his influence. Unlike his sister Asuka, who is more pragmatic and willing to adapt to changing circumstances, Kenji is rigid in his beliefs. His missions often revolve around asserting the Yakuza's dominance over rival factions, like the Colombian cartel and the Uptown Yardies. This focus on loyalty and honor makes him a compelling character, but also contributes to his downfall. Kenji's trust in Claude, largely based on Asuka's recommendation, ultimately leads to his demise. In one of the game's most pivotal moments, Claude betrays Kenji by deleting him on behalf of Donald Love while posing as a member of the Colombian cartel. This act not only underscores Claude's ruthlessness, but also sets off a chain reaction of violence between the Yakuza and the cartel, further destabilizing Liberty City's criminal underworld. Kenji's character may draw inspiration from traditional depictions of Yakuza leaders in Japanese cinema and media. His emphasis on loyalty and honor aligns with the archetypes as seen in films like Battles Without Honor and Humanity or Sunshine, where Yakuza figures are often portrayed as both noble and deeply flawed. His adherence to these principles contrasts sharply with the more chaotic and self-serving behavior of other criminal factions in Liberty City. Kenji is voiced by Les J.N. Mao, an actor whose credits include appearances in television series such as Law & Order. While Mao is not widely recognized as some other voice actors in GTA 3, his performance effectively conveys Kenji's stoic demeanor and commanding presence. Mao's delivery emphasizes Kenji's strictness and sense of honor, helping to distinguish him from other characters in the game. The voice acting plays a crucial role in making Kenji a memorable character, despite his brief screen time. Mao's portrayal adds depth to Kenji's personality, making his eventual portrayal by Claude all the more impactful. The contrast between Kenji's principled approach to leadership and Claude's cold-blooded pragmatism highlights the game's central themes, the fragility of trust in a world driven by greed and betrayal.
My sister speaks highly of you, though I'm yet to be convinced that a Gaijin can offer anything but disappointment. Perhaps you could help deal with a situation that has me at a disadvantage. Of course, failure has its own disgrace. A Yakuza Kanbu is in custody awaiting transfer for trial. He is a valued member of the family. Break him out of custody and get him to the dojo at Bedford Point.
Ray Machowski is a fascinating and morally ambiguous character, serving as a corrupt and paranoid police officer who becomes one of Claude's key employers. His dual role as both a law enforcement officer and a criminal collaborator makes him a compelling example of the blurred lines between authority and corruption in Liberty City. Ray is introduced as a former idealistic police officer who, over time, succumbed to corruption under the influence of his partner, Leon McCoffey. By the events of GTA 3, Ray has fully embraced his criminal connections, working closely with the Yakuza and other factions to advance his own interests. However, his paranoia and fear of exposure dominate his personality, as he is under investigation by both Internal Affairs and the CIA for his illicit activities. This constant pressure drives him to hide in public restrooms in Belleville Park and conduct business through people like Claude. Ray's missions often highlight his desperation to cover his tracks and eliminate threats to his safety. For example, Claude is tasked with taking out Leon McCoffey, Ray's former partner turned informant, and destroying incriminating evidence that could implicate him. These missions showcase Ray's willingness to go to any lengths to protect himself, even if it means betraying those he once worked alongside. Despite his paranoia and self-serving nature, Ray is not entirely without his principles. His disdain for the Colombian cartel's spank drug operation suggests that he retains some sense of morality, albeit selectively applied. His collaboration with the Yakuza also reflects a pragmatic approach to survival in Liberty City's corrupt environment, where alliances are often forged out of necessity rather than loyalty. Ray's ultimate fate underscores his survival instincts. In the mission Marked Man, Claude helps Ray escape Liberty City by driving him to Francis International Airport while evading CIA agents. Ray successfully flees to Miami, a possible nod to Vice City. Yes, that video is coming out soon too. Machowski's character appears to be inspired by classic portrayals of corrupt cops in crime films and television. His paranoia and moral decay evoke comparisons to characters like Harvey Keitel's portrayal of the Bad Lieutenant or Al Pacino's corrupt cop in Serco. Additionally, his ties to organized crime and internal struggles mirror themes explored in The Shield or The Sopranos. While not directly based on any figure, Ray embodies the archetype of a fallen officer whose corruption reflects the systemic rot within Liberty City's institutions. Ray Machowski is voiced by Robert Loggia, an acclaimed actor for his roles in iconic crime films such as Scarface, where he played drug lord Frank Lopez. Loggia's gravelly voice and commanding delivery bring authenticity to Ray's character, perfectly capturing his mix of authority, paranoia, and desperation. Loggia's extensive experience playing morally complex figures in films like Prizzi's Honor and Jagged Edge adds depth to Ray's portrayal. Loggia's performance elevates Ray from a stereotypical corrupt cop to a layered character whose paranoia feels palpable. His voice acting lends gravitas to scenes where Ray vents about his fears or gives Claude morally questionable assignments. The casting of Loggia also ties Ray Machowski thematically to Scarface, one of Rockstar Games' key interpretations of the GTA series. This connection enhances the cinematic quality of GTA 3, blending elements of classic crime storytelling with interactive gameplay.
Useless bastard! You totally messed up! My ass is on the line, and you can't even kill a goddamn fly! I paid you good money to kill that witness, and he ain't dead! And today he's gonna make a federal deposition! He's being moved any second now from the Carson General Hospital up in Rockford. If he squeals, I squeal!
The last character in the game I'm going to cover is Donald Love. As a wealthy media mogul and real estate developer, Love embodies the dark underbelly of capitalism and the power in Liberty City. His character is defined by a mix of refined sophistication and hidden depravity, making him a compelling and memorable figure in the game's narrative. Love's character appears to draw inspiration from various real-world media tycoons and corrupt businessmen, with some parallels to Donald Trump in his real estate dealings and media influence. However, Love's character takes these traits to a disturbing extreme, particularly with the implications of cannibalism that are hinted at in the story and more explicitly revealed in later games. We'll get there soon. In GTA 3, Love is portrayed as a smooth-talking, articulate businessman with a penchant for orchestrating chaos to further his own interests. His missions often involve creating gang wars or eliminating rivals to drive down property prices, showcasing his ruthless approach to business. This portrayal adds depth to the game's satirical take on American capitalism and media manipulation. The voice acting for Donald Love in GTA 3 was performed by Kyle MacLachlan, known for his roles in Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet. MacLachlan's performance is crucial to the character's impact, bringing a soft-spoken, erudite quality to Love that contrasts sharply with his morally bankrupt actions. His delivery adds layers of complexity to Love, making him sound educated and refined even when ordering deletions or other felonies. MacLachlan's experience in portraying complex and often dark characters in David Lynch films likely contributed to his ability to capture Love's duality. His performance helps create a sense of unease around Love, hinting at the character's hidden depths without overtly revealing them. The mystery surrounding Donald Love is a key aspect of his character in GTA 3. With less than 4 minutes total screen time, Love's limited appearances and eventual disappearance adds his intrigue. This approach to the character leaves much to the player's imagination, making Love one of the most discussed and analyzed figures in the game.
A lesson in business, my friend. If you have a unique commodity, the world and his wife will try to wrestle it from your grasp, even if they have little understanding as to its true value. SWAT teams have cordoned off the area around my associate in the package. Get over there, pick up the van, and act as a decoy. Keep them busy, and he should make good his escape.
GTA 3 took a lot of elements from GTA 2 and refined them, bringing them to life in 3D. Many mechanics from the older games make a return, but with a new level of immersion. For starters, missions still have you working for different people, but instead of just answering payphones, you now get full cinematic cutscenes, complete with voice acting from known actors, giving the game a level of fidelity that was unheard of at the time. Now, I've got to give credit for improving the driving. But let's be real, improve doesn't mean perfect. In the 2D era, cars were either too fast or borderline uncontrollable, making turns at 90 miles per hour a complete nightmare. GTA 3 makes driving feel more natural, and turning isn't nearly as punishing. But here's where the problem kicks in: car durability. I can't count how many times I just left a hand spray only to barely tap something and have my car looking like I never even went in. And don't even get me started on handling. Some of the faster cars have you fighting for control, leading to constant overcorrections, flipping over, and inevitably catching fire. Honestly, the car physics in this game sometimes felt like Saints Row insurance fraud. One hit and your car's already out of whack. If we're comparing, GTA 1 and 2 had cars that could take more damage, but the driving itself wasn't great. Here, the driving feels smoother, but the durability not so much. So it's really a pick your poison type situation. Outside of missions, GTA 3 feels like a fully realized sandbox. Whatever you want to do, go for it. The game gives you free reign to test your most chaotic thoughts without any real world consequences. But endgame, that's a different story. If you start causing trouble, throwing grenades, jacking cars, or just randomly throwing hands with pedestrians, you'll rack up a wanted level. Now, this mechanic isn't new. It's been around since the first 2 GTA games, but here it's more dynamic. 1 star and it's barely a problem. You'll drive around for a bit and it'll go away. The cops won't even bother shooting at you. Hit 2 stars, though, that's when things heat up. The police start spawning faster, they actually chase you, and yeah, now they got no problem pulling the trigger. Anything beyond 2 stars, you better have a fast car and keep moving. Cops at higher levels are straight up reckless. They'll slam into you, run themselves off the road, and even send you flying into the water, taking themselves with you if necessary. Their goal is simple: take you down or take you in. And at high levels, the second option is off the table. Now, if you need to shake that heat, you got 3 options. First, the paint spray. Change your car's color and suddenly the cops have the memory of a goldfish. Second, scattered around the city are police bribes. Grab one and it knocks off your wanted level, 1 at a time. And the last option, the most unethical one, let's just say I won't snitch, but we both know what it is. And since we're talking about the 3D era of GTA, we have to address the elephant in the room: cheat codes. If you're watching this, I know you used to scribble down cheat codes from GameSpot and punch in infinite health, infinite armor, and no wanted levels. I won't say anything, I'll just assume you had the same childhood. But as you get older, you realize it's more fun to play the game without cheats. There's an actual challenge in escaping the cops and legitimately just feels more satisfying. While GTA 3 is an open sandbox, there are plenty of side missions to keep you busy. If you feel like saving lives, you can hijack an ambulance and play paramedic. Save 75 people and Claude gets some solid perks: an adrenaline pill at his hideout, infinite sprint, and even a health refill. If you rather explore the city while making some cash, hop in a taxi and rack up 100 fares to unlock the Borgen taxi. Want to be a vigilante? Grab a cop car, or if you're feeling bold, a tank, and take down criminals across 3 islands. Complete 20 vigilante missions and you'll unlock 6 police bribes at your hideout. And if firefighting is more your speed, extinguish 60 fires and a flamethrower will spawn at your save point. One lesser known feature that doesn't get much attention is the vehicle crane system. In Portland, there's a list of requested vehicles. Deliver them, and later, Claude can pick up those cars whenever he wants. It's a cool little mechanic that rewards exploration and vehicle collection. But the most impactful unlockable in the game: hidden packages. Scattered all over Liberty City, every 10 packages unlock a new weapon at your hideout. 10 get you a pistol, 20 an Uzi, 30 grenades, and so on. Collect 100 and you'll unlock a rocket launcher, plus a hefty $1 million reward. Now that I've talked about how the game encourages exploration, let's get into one aspect that aged the worst: the map. In later GTA titles, players can pause the game and view a full map, making navigation much easier. Even Rockstar's Midnight Club, released before GTA 3, had a large corner map to help players find their way. But in GTA 3, you're on your own. For Portland, you eventually memorize the layout, but when the game starts sending you on missions across multiple islands with time limits, that's when things get frustrating. Some areas have one way in and one way out, and while the subway can be helpful, it's not ideal for time missions. And that brings me to Espresso To Go, the mission that every GTA 3 player hates. If you played it, I know you've had nightmares about it. But don't worry, I got some pointers to help you get through it. For Espresso To Go, the game warns you that once you destroy the first coffee stand, you'll have 8 minutes to take out the rest. My advice: scout out all the stands before blowing one up. This will save you valuable time instead of scrambling to find them on the fly. Also, get your hands on a Patriot. This beast of a car is bulletproof, which is a lifesaver since at this point in the game, Claude is a fully marked man. There are 5 stands in Staten Island and 2 each in Portland and Shoreside Vale. Memorize landmarks and highways so you can quickly navigate between the islands without getting lost. Just a little gem for you if you ever decide to replay this game. Now, one thing I haven't touched on yet but need to do is the camera system. GTA 3 gives players full control over how they experience the game. You got a close-up camera, a wide camera, and even a far camera to suit different playstyles. There's also a cinematic camera for those who want a more dramatic and movie-like experience. And if you're feeling nostalgic for the top-down perspective of GTA 1 and GTA 2, you could switch to the overhead 2D camera and relive the late 90s all over again. Another way GTA 3 lets you relive the 90s is through phone missions. If you played the original GTAs, you'll remember that missions were primarily handled through telephone booths scattered across the city. In GTA 3, there are 17 completely optional payphone missions spread across 3 islands, just like the first 2 games. It's a cool nod to the originals and a nice touch of nostalgia. Then we have the off-road challenges, which put your driving skills to the test with checkpoint races across Liberty City. These include Patriot Playground, A Ride in the Park, Multi-Story Mayhem, and Gripped. Completing them earns you some extra cash, but more importantly, they're required for that coveted 100% completion. Next up, the RC Toys mission. These are all about pure destruction. You get to control remote control cars packed with explosives and use them to take out gang vehicles. Each mission is themed around a different game. Diablo Destruction, Mafia Massacre, Casino Calamity, Rumpo Rampage. The goal? Blow up as many gang cars as possible within 2 minutes. For every car destroyed past your high score, you'll rank in $1,000 per vehicle. Now, if you feel like pulling off some Dukes of Hazzard style stunts, then stunt jumps are for you. These are scattered across Liberty City, rewarding you with cash bonuses for successfully launching off ramps. To pull them off, you need a fast car with good acceleration, and completing them is another step forward to the 100% completion. And finally, what we have might be the most fun and probably the most controversial side activity in the game: the rampages. These missions throw you into a chaotic, time-limited challenge where you're given a specific weapon and told to wipe out a set number of gang members. It's pure arcade-style mayhem and a great way to just lose yourself in the chaos of Liberty City. There's just so much to do in this game. You can easily spend hours exploring, testing out all different activities, and it's just having fun in this giant open world. The game just gives you so much freedom, and that's what makes it timeless. The PlayStation 2 port of Grand Theft Auto 3 stands out due to its distinct visual aesthetic, complete with desaturated colors, unique headlight flares, and rain reflections, alongside clear police scanner audio and the soundtrack. All elements not perfectly replicated in subsequent versions. Gameplay differences like the more challenging Yakuza guards and optional dismemberment, a less saturated HUD with unique lighting effects, and a prized Day 1 PAL copy containing unique dialogue further distinguish it. And while later ports offered enhancements, the PS2 version remains a definitive original experience, serving as the basis for emulated releases on PS3 and PS4, making it both a nostalgic touchstone and a benchmark for how Liberty City was first realized. The Windows port of Grand Theft Auto 3 offers several distinct features compared to other versions, particularly the PS2 original. It boasts improved graphics with higher resolutions and frame rates, custom soundtrack support allowing players to add their own music to in-game radio stations, and extensive mod capabilities that have kept the game fresh for years. However, it also has some drawbacks. The PC version lacks certain visual effects present in the PS2 release, such as anamorphic headlight flares and rain reflections on roads, and some audio files are of lower quality. The PC port also introduced new bugs and glitches, though many of these have been addressed by community-made patches like Silent Patch and Sky GFX. Despite these issues, the Windows version improved performance, customization options, and mod support have made it a popular choice for many players, especially those looking to enhance the classic GTA 3 experience. The Xbox port of Grand Theft Auto 3, developed by Rockstar Vienna, is widely regarded as the most polished version of the game upon its release, offering significant enhancements over the PS2 and PC versions. This port included improved graphics, including higher resolution textures, better draw distances, and upgraded lighting effects such as spectacular reflections on vehicles and enhanced radiosity from fire. Character models were also refined with increased polygon counts, giving clawed detailed fingers instead of blocky club fists. The audio received an upgrade as well, with higher quality 44 kHz stereo compared to the lower frequencies on other platforms. Additionally, environmental details like vegetation and building shadows were noticeably improved, making Liberty City feel more immersive. Despite these upgrades, the Xbox version retained the core gameplay and content of the original, while addressing performance issues like frame rate drops and pop-in that plagued the PS2 release. These refinements made the Xbox port a standout version of GTA 3, often hailed as the definitive way to experience the game during this era. Between me and you, I also think it's the PS2. The Mac OS port of GTA 3, released as part of Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy in 2010, offers a unique experience distinct from other versions. Despite using Cider, a wrapper technology that allows Windows games to run on Mac OS, this port is not a native Mac OS application and suffers from several limitations. While it retains the core gameplay and features of the original, including the open world design and mission structure, performance issues such as frame rate drops, occasional crashes, and compatibility problems with newer Mac OS versions due to the removal of 32-bit app support in Mac OS Catalina make it less stable than other ports. On the positive side, it supports higher resolution and smoother textures compared to the PS2 version, but it lacks some of the graphical enhancements seen in the Xbox port. Additionally, modding is far more limited compared to the Windows version. Despite its flaws, this port allowed Mac users to experience GTA 3 without relying on emulation or dual boot setups, making it a notable addition in the game's history during this time. The mobile ports of GTA 3, first released in 2011 for the game's 10-year anniversary, stand out for bridging the full Liberty City experience to smartphones and tablets. These versions featured enhanced visuals, including smoother textures and improved character and vehicle models, which look particularly sharp on smaller screens. They also introduced customizable touchscreen controls with a virtual joystick and context-sensitive buttons, though these were met with mixed reviews. While driving was generally praised, on-foot movement and shooting mechanics were often criticized as clunky. One of the major distinctions of the mobile port was the inclusion of an in-game map, a feature that was absent from the original PS2 release, making navigating much easier for players. Additionally, the mobile version supported external gamepads for a more traditional control scheme, though it somewhat detracted from the portability. Despite some frame rate issues on lower-end devices and limitations compared to other ports, the mobile version offered a faithful recreation of GTA 3's open-world gameplay, making it accessible to a new generation of players on the go. Okay, so now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Grand Theft Auto 3, the Definitive Edition, is a port that came out celebrating 20 years of the game's inception. I will admit, I was not planning on covering this version of the game because a lot of people don't like it, and I played it. It wasn't bad. I like the in-game map, but compared to the original, it's no comparison. So I'll just say I'm touching upon it here, but we all know the original PS2 port is probably the best way to go. Grand Theft Auto 3 was met with overwhelming critical acclaim upon its release, setting a new standard for open-world gaming and earning a near-universal praise from reviewers. The game received an impressive Metacritic score of 97 out of 100 based on 56 reviews, tying it with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 as the highest-rated PlayStation 2 game on the site. Critics were particularly enamored with the game's groundbreaking open-world design, which offered players unprecedented freedom to explore and interact with Liberty City. The transition from the series' 2D top-down view to a fully realized 3D environment was widely celebrated, with many reviewers noting the improved character and vehicle mods as well as the overall texture quality of the city. While some found the graphics slightly inferior to contemporaries like Gran Turismo 3 and Ico, the sheer scale of detail in Liberty City were universally praised. The game's sound design and soundtrack received particular acclaim. IGN's Doug Perry described the audio as unbelievably and meticulously delivered, praising the voice acting, sound effects, and diverse in-game radio stations. The soundtrack's ability to enhance the game's atmosphere and immerse players in the world of Liberty City was frequently highlighted as a standout feature. Reviewers also lauded the game's mission structure and storytelling. The variety and creativity of the missions were seen as a welcome departure from previous titles in the series, with many critics appreciating the well-paced and coherent narrative that drew comparisons to mob films. The abundance of side missions and activities was noted as providing additional depth and replay value to the game. However, the game controls received mixed reactions. While some reviewers found the driving mechanics responsive and enjoyable, others noted issues with the on-foot controls and combat system. The targeting system in particular was criticized for being occasionally unreliable. Also, the release of GTA 3 was surrounded by significant controversy, much of which stemmed from its groundbreaking yet provocative content. The game's depiction of violence, crime, and moral ambiguity placed it at the center of debates about the societal effects of video games, drawing sharp criticism from politicians, media outlets, and different groups. One of the most immediate controversies came from the timing of its release. GTA 3 launched just weeks after the tragic events of September 11, 2001. Rockstar Games made last-minute changes to the game out of sensitivity to the national mood, including altering the design of police cars to look less like NYPD vehicles and removing a mission involving a plane. There were even discussions with Rockstar about canceling the release entirely due to concerns about releasing such a violent game in the aftermath of 9/11. Ultimately, these adjustments allowed the game to move forward, but its themes of urban chaos and criminality still struck a nerve during that time when public sentiment was particularly fragile. Beyond its release timing, GTA 3 became a lightning rod for broader cultural debates about video game violence. Critics decried its open-world gameplay and that allowed players to commit acts of deletions, theft, and destruction without consequence. The game's portrayal of S-workers who could be hired for a health boost and then deleted for cash was particularly controversial and drew from adversary groups like politicians. These elements made GTA a poster child for those arguing that violent games were corrupting the youth and contributing to societal decay. The backlash wasn't limited to moral outrage. It also sparked legal battles and policy discussions. Lawmakers called for stricter regulations on video games, while figures like Jack Thompson, a vocal critic of games, used GTA 3 as an example in his campaigns against the industry. The moral panic placed Rockstar Games under intense scrutiny, with critics accusing them of glorifying criminal behavior and desensitizing players to violence. Despite, or perhaps because of the controversy, GTA 3 became a cultural phenomenon. The uproar only amplified its visibility, drawing players curious to experience what was so heavily criticized. Rockstar learned that this notoriety and later marketing efforts for the series, solidifying GTA's reputation as a franchise that thrived on pushing boundaries. In hindsight, GTA 3's controversies highlight how it changed societal norms about what video games could portray. While it faced significant backlash at launch, it also sparked critical conversations about the artistic freedom in gaming and helped pave the way for video games to be recognized as a legitimate medium for storytelling, even if that story was unapologetically chaotic and violent.
This is the nation's top-selling video game. The object?
Kill as many people as you can, get as many stars as you can.
And millions of kids are mastering it by learning to slaughter bystanders.
It's as close as you can get to like killing someone without like being arrested or really killing someone.
Kill police officers. Hire prostitutes. Club them to death and reclaim their money.
Like an adrenaline rush.
Tonight, it's just a game. Playing Grand Theft Auto 3.
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
There is nothing new about worrying over the impact of media on children. One generation of adults after another has viewed with alarm and risen with righteous indignation over the potential damaging effects of violent comic books, rock and roll music, graphic movies, obscene lyrics, not to mention the wholesale impact of the internet and all that's contained within. But of all the worrisome material swirling about out there, Grand Theft Auto 3, one of the most popular, technically sophisticated, and graphic video games ever designed, may have given our generation of adults something new to worry about. Since it was released 9 months ago, Grand Theft Auto 3 has sold 3.5 million copies at $50 per. It carries a rating of M for mature audience, indicating that its content is unsuitable for persons under 17. But that, of course, has only made it more tantalizing to teens under that age. And hundreds of thousands of them have apparently had no trouble finding an adult to purchase the game for them. What does it do? Well, it puts the player in the assumed role of an escaped convict trying to work his way up the ladder in the world of organized crime and gang warfare. It is, as Michelle Norris now reports, just the sort of game you'd like your 13-year-old to get his hands on.
In the upstairs bedroom of this upstate New York home, a group of 13-year-old boys is carrying out a reign of terror on screen.
Oh man, this is bad.
That would put them on the nation's most wanted list in real life.
It's my general object of this game. Kill as many people as you can, get as many stars as you can.
They're deep into a video game called Grand Theft Auto 3, where players assume the role of an escaped convict who hijacks cars, guns down pedestrians,
Aw, dude.
has sex with a prostitute.
Want me to shoot her?
Yes. Then earns extra points by killing her, so he can snatch back his money.
It's as close as you can get to killing someone without being arrested or really killing someone.
There are plenty of violent video games on the market today, but what sets Grand Theft Auto 3 apart is the game's stunning realism. GTA 3, as it is commonly called, revolves around a street thug who tries to work his way up the organized crime ladder in a fictional metropolis called Liberty City. There are shopping districts and slums, junkyards, and a red light district. There's even a Chinatown.
You can explore the world, you can get to know the city, the streets. You can do all these other activities that are not necessarily part of the given path designed by the developer.
That world takes interactive gaming to a new level. Pass pedestrians on the street, and you can overhear snatches of their conversation.
No families, no respect.
Don't like the music in the car you just hijacked?
You are a no-good.
Change the radio station to something more to your liking.
Although the violent content gets a lot of play, what the game designers have actually achieved beneath that is really amazing. It's amazing stuff.
The technical wizardry has attracted loyal fans, but the graphic violence has attracted angry critics. Denounced by Congress here in the U.S., the game has been outlawed in Australia, and several other countries are also considering bans. Despite, or perhaps because of such complaints, Grand Theft Auto 3 is the nation's top-selling video game this year, and a particularly big hit with teenage boys.
I just think it makes it more exciting, because you're not supposed to have it. So, I think that's why a lot of people our age buy it.
Actually, they talk their parents into buying it for them. With its M or mature rating, Grand Theft Auto is not intended for anyone younger than 17. Even so, Lawrence Jones convinced his mother to buy the game.
I don't think that it's going to impact on him. I don't think it's going to erode morals or anything else. It's no different than the movies that they go to.
But James Oppenheim, who reviews video games and other software for children, says there is a difference, a big one. Children are not just watching violence on screen, they're acting it out in increasingly realistic settings.
And you see that you get extra points for shooting somebody in the head as opposed to shooting them in the body. You have to wonder exactly what the values that we're teaching our children. Parents have to not check their parenting skills at the door just because it's a video game.
But is it possible that Oppenheim has it wrong? That parents who allow their children to play gruesome games like Grand Theft Auto might actually be helping their children in some way?
And one of the functions of any kind of play, whether it's playing with your toys or playing with a video game, is to help you make a little more sense of your anxieties and get a little more control of them and be a little less troubled by them.
A new book called Killing Monsters makes a provocative argument. Much like the cops and robbers playground games that kids used to play, today's high-tech version of make-believe can help children make sense of a confusing and troubling world.
It's a very natural reaction of young people to want to play with the very thing that is disturbing to them and toughen themselves up, prove that they can look at the image and handle the content.
The 13-year-olds in Monticello, New York, say the game does provide a release.
When I get mad, I just play these and get all my angry thoughts out of my head.
It's just something fun to do. It takes your mind off of things.
But these boys also admit
to
that the
some private
line
places.
between fantasy and reality is not always so clear.
It's like, you gotta stop it. It's like, you can't. My palms get sweaty and I get, like, nervous if I'm about to do something hard in the video game. I don't know, it's like an adrenaline rush.
Someone would think if it's that easy on the game, you could probably do it in real life.
Critics worry that these increasingly ferocious games are desensitizing children to violence. Much was made of the fact that the boys who opened fire on their classmates in Columbine were obsessed with a fatalistic game called Doom. But there is no conclusive research that establishes a clear link between violent video games and aggressive behavior. Still, video game producers are sensitive to the concerns, so much so that some are wondering if they should even be called games.
Games, for the most part, are viewed by the general populace as toys, as things for children.
The phenomenal success of Grand Theft Auto 3 has created a rush to match the game's over-the-top violence. A bill introduced in Congress this spring would make it harder for children to get their hands on those games, making it a federal crime to sell or rent violent video games to minors. The irony in all this, according to experts who study child development, is that the louder the complaints about violence in video games, the greater the demand among teenagers.
Sayonara, hookers.
It is marketing buzz based on one of the basic rules of adolescence. Teenagers desire the very thing they are not supposed to have. This is Michelle Norris reporting for Nightline in Monticello, New York.
I have to admit, I actually like GTA 3. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube and read countless reviews where players say the game sucks by today's standards. And sure, I can admit that some elements are dated, but to say this game sucks, that's just not true. And this isn't nostalgia talking, it's reality. Playing this again for the channel made me realize something. Rockstar was in control the moment they dropped this game. It wasn't perfect back then, and it isn't perfect now. But compared to modern open world games, GTA 3 feels more alive and more lived in. The characters feel authentic, drawing inspiration from American media, and the world doesn't just exist, it breathes. The game didn't just play like an experience, it was an experience. Here's a bit of trivia you might not know. When Jak and Daxter first dropped, it followed the traditional platformer formula, but when GTA 3 came out, Jak 2 took a darker, grittier approach. Think about that. A 2001 video game was so impactful that it influenced an entire franchise to change directions. That alone should tell you just how groundbreaking this game was. Now, I won't pretend GTA 3 isn't outdated compared to later 3D and HD entries, but outdated doesn't mean bad. It just makes it a worthwhile trip down memory lane, a reminder of a time when games were made with love and not microtransactions, a time when art mattered more than a dollar sign. If there was one gameplay element I struggle to defend, it's the lack of the in-game map. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it could be frustrating, especially for players experiencing the PS3 or PS4 ports, where a map would have been incredibly helpful. That said, it forces players to memorize Liberty City's layout. After a while, it becomes muscle memory. I knew exactly where to find the paint spray near my safe house and how to get to Luigi's Club in seconds, and which alleys made for the best escape routes. That's something you don't need to do in modern games, but back then, it added to the immersion. Playing through GTA 3 again for this video was an amazing experience. It's a game I can always come back to and zone out, and just enjoy. I even like that Claude is silent. He's a blank slate and stand in for the player. He's just along for the ride, and he's controlled by us. That's something poetic to think about. If you ever played GTA 3, give it a shot. Don't let other people's opinions decide for you. It may lack the mechanics of later games, but what it lacks in gameplay depth, it more than makes up for in atmosphere. And if you grew up playing this game or still booted up from time to time, you already know it lives rent-free in your heart. This game first let us live out our intrusive thoughts in the open world sandbox where we make choices. And yeah, that made some people uncomfortable back in the day, but that's the beauty of it. You can pick and choose when to go on a rampage or just cruise through the city. So, is GTA 3 perfect? No. Is it worth experiencing? Absolutely. If you haven't played this game, give it a chance. And if you have, a trip down memory lane is always worth it. If you made it to the end of this video, I want to say thank you. Thanks for taking this trip through Rockstar's time capsule in GTA 3. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm. If you're new to the channel and like what you saw, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and I'd love to have you along the ride. Next week, we're back with the Mortal Kombat Takeover, diving into Mortal Kombat mythology Sub-Zero. And in 2 weeks, the Rockstar Takeover continues with Max Payne. If those games sound up your alley, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. This is the Retro Phantom, signing out.